This is a high demand African boubou kaftan. It is made with damask and silk or satin, or you can use only damask. I recreate mine with a Kampala damask and silk, and I'm going to be showing you step by step on how to go about it. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please click the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and comment with your favorite emoji. Thank you. In this video, I used a 5 yards of Kampala damask, and as you can see me, I fold it into 4, with the length being the length of the person. So if the person length is 60, you are going to be folding into 2, that's into 60 inches long. Your whole fabrics, you're going to be folding it till they give you 60 inches long, folded into 2, and then you fold it into 4. Do you understand what I'm saying? You fold into 4, just like as you can see me doing. And there I'm trying to draw out where my what's it called is going to reach, my pleating. You can see that it has pleating in both sides. So my pleating, and then I cut out my sleeve. This is a cut together boubou. So you just have to be careful while you're cutting it. So here I'm trying to measure the pleat, so the type of pleat that you want. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to cut out your neck, and then you're going to be cutting out you're going to be measuring your bust. After measuring your bust, right here I'm cutting out the neck. That's the first thing, just to indicate where the neck area is, so we won't make mistake. And then I cut out this side. I am cutting out what I marked out. That's my normal boubou, so you are just going to be cutting it out. And what I use for my normal boubou for me is my bust. Then I add my 11 inches for my for my pleating. After adding my 11 inches, then I add 5 inches again, just to give it that free that I want. Your normal bust, your normal hips, you're supposed to use your hips or the bigger part of your body. You add your 11 inches for your pleating. After that, you turn your clothes to the right side and you mark out your pleating. As you can see what I'm doing here, it might not be visible though, I'm going to be explaining, so just focus on this video. What I'm doing there right now is I'm marking out my pleating, and this is what I did. My back, from my back, after marking my back out, then I'm going to be marking 5 inches, 5.5 inches is the half inches that I'm going to use to pleat it inside. So 5.5 inches, I'm going to be marking it out, as you can see. So I'm going to mark it down, just as you are seeing here. I'm going to be marking it on both sides. So let's say my back is 16, then I'm going to be marking the 8 inches first, and then I'm going to be adding 5.5 inches. Do we understand? So by the time we fold this together to bring out our pleat, it's going to be 2.5 inches, 2.5. It depends on how big you want your pleat is. That's how you are going to be cutting it. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm really sorry my lighting is bad. That was because I record this video at night. It's a customer's clothes, so I just thought to do a video with it, and that's what I'm doing. So as you can see, mark out the length you want your pleat to be. Make sure you're using a visible chalk, and then mark it out where you want it to reach, front and back. Make sure you're doing it front and back. For mine, I made it to be as my belly button. That's where it stopped. So you're going to be marking it front and back. Same thing you did for this side, you do it for the other side, you do it for the back, so that it can align when. Now we are going to be opening it up to the long gear. I told you is front and back, so we are going to be opening it up so that we can cut out the neckline. For the neckline of this dress, we are going to be using a v-neck, and we are going to be slitting the front part. So that is exactly what I'm doing right here. The front part, when you want to cut this neck, after cutting your v-neck, you are going to be cutting it, you are going to open it up. Then after opening it up, you are going to be going in by 2 inches all the way down. Why? Because we are still going to be adding a fabric at the middle. We are still going to be adding a satin at the middle. That's what we use for the design at the middle. So we are still going to be using that, and then you want to cut that one out so that the front won't be buggy. So you're going to be cutting out 2 inches from up to down. You can cut out 3 inches, depends on how big you want the front design to be, but for me, I use 2 inches. So I cut out 2 inches all the way down, and that's exactly what I did here. So here I'm cutting out the sleeve, because I'm going to be adding to the sleeve. So that's my satin that I'm going to be using. No, sorry, this is the front design. This is the design that I'm going to be using for my front. So for my front, I use 5 inches. 5 inches. I cut out 5 inches by 60 inches. It's even more than 60 inches. So you want to cut it in the length of your clothes. So that's what I did. So I use 5 inches by 90 inches. That's what I cut out. So the excesses, I can cut it out later. So this is where I want to cut out the 2 inches that I told you in the front. I forgot at the beginning. So you're going to be going in by 2 inches, and you're going to be cutting it down. You want to measure that 2 inches from up to down, and that's exactly what I did here. Now let's go back to our satin. We're going to be cutting out the sleeve. I added to my sleeve because it was short, but if the material you're using is a long material, maybe by 60, the normal damask is by 60. So if it's by 60, you don't need to add so much as I'm adding mine. But because the material I use is not by 60, it's by 45, so it's not long enough. So that's why I'm adding this much. So I'm going to be putting this by the sleeve. So what I cut out here is 8 inches. 8 inches by 12 inches. That's what the mouth of my sleeve is. So now let's go back to the machine. While we are here, we are going to be joining our front design. You know, I told you that the front design, so we are going to be joining it together because it's separate. So we are going to be joining it together, and that's exactly what I did here. We're going to be joining it together. After the joining, as you can see, after the joining, you're going to be marking out what your neck depth you want. For me, I use 12 inches. First thing, you're going to be folding this into 2. So you want to mark out your middle. So the whole length of this is 7 inches, and then I marked out 3.5 inches from up to down to where I want my slit should start from. It has slit at the down part, so I measured 3.5 down. I measured 3.5 down, and as you can see, that's what I did here. After that, you want to measure out your neck depth. For this cloth, I use a neck depth of 12 inches. I have already measured mine. That's why it gives me 12 inches. 12 inches with the back, because you know it doesn't have a joining by the shoulder. So we are going to be doing this from the back, and that's exactly what I did. So we are going to be marking that, and then we are going to come down. We are going to measure it to where we want this pleats should reach. Now let's stitch down where we marked, and that's exactly what I did here. So where we marked where the neck is going to open, we are not going to be stitching from up, we're going to be stitching from the 12 inches. That's where how in depth we want our neck to be. If you want yours to show your cleavage, you can come down again. So you're just going to follow the line. We measured the middle, so you are going to just stitch down just as you see that. Just be careful so you don't want to make a mistake. So you want to stitch down, and then when you get to the sleeve side, you stop. Where the slit is going to be, you stop. And that's what I did. So I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to open this up now and show you how it's going to look like. Can you see now that gives us the neckline that we want? Can you see? So we're going to be ironing this out because we want it well pressed, so that it will be easy for us to place it in our fabrics, in our boubou gown. So I'm going to be pressing this down. As you can see, you want to make sure that you press it down, because if you don't press it down, it's not going to come out nice. Now you want to go and pick, you want to work on your boubou, on your real fabric, the damask fabric. So this place, I'm trying to show you how I'm going to be pleating my gown. Just pick the line that we have already marked down, pick it, fold it into two as if you just want to fold clothes, and then stitch down just the way you see me doing. Can you see? And then you stitch it down. I'm trying to confirm so that it won't be as if I'm making a mistake. So you stitch it down to where you want your pleats to reach. Mine is under bust, like it stopped as my belly button. So as you can see, if you want yours to reach down, you can make it to reach down. Just do your calculation very well, and it's going to reach down. So we have already done it for one part, so we are going to be doing that same pleat on the other part. This is after I've added my pleats. Now I want to add the neckline, because that's the next thing. So our neckline that we made, that we have already ironed well, so I'm placing it so you can see how it's going to look like on the fabric. And as you can see, it's already coming out, it's already coming together. Can you see? So we're going to be stitching it round. So let's go and stitch that. Make sure you tack it down with pin so it can stay in place, and then you want to start from down. Any which way that is easier for you, you can start with. Just make sure you fix it perfectly and you don't make mistake. So you can see how I'm fixing it. It's so simple to fix. After you have already put it on your clothes, then you just have to stitch it round, just like that. You stitch it round the open front, you stitch it round there. This is the outcome after adding my front one. Can you see? This is the outcome. Can you see it's already given? Can you see it? So now the next thing is to add our satin to our sleeve. You have to open it up like that, and then you add your satin, pin it down, and then you go and stitch it on your machine, just as you are seeing in the video. You pin it down. The next thing is you want to add your inner rope that is going to make you snatch your waist from inside. Just make a normal rope and then you add it. I'm adding mine at my under bust. Immediately after my under bust, so I'm going to be adding it there. And you want to measure your waist too, so you don't want it to be too far from your waist, or you don't want it to be too far from your waist. So that's exactly what I did here. I measured where my waist is, and then I marked it out. So you stitch it. I use pin to pin it down, then I'll go and stitch it on my machine. After that, I'm going to just sew the side up. I'm just going to sew the side up, and that's it. Then you're going to do the down parts, and that's all. Then I add my buttons to it. Ta-da! See how beautiful the gown is looking. It's giving. Can you see how beautiful it came out? Thank you so